Good afternoon. The sun is shining again. We had some rain over the last couple of days, but it's back to being a little bit warm, rather lovely. And what is it today? It's the 30th of July. So tomorrow will be the 31st, and then it'll be August. Yeah, looking forward to that, I think. Right, all of you that have followed any of the story know that at the moment I am in the throes of getting rid of stuff. I don't need more stuff. Anything that I own has got to be packed up and put in my car and shipped that way several hundred miles. So I desperately don't want anything. But I had to go for a walk up to the shops, and one of the shops that I walked past is not open on a Monday. And this is good news because I can't go in there without coming out with something. It's a bookshop. It's a wonderful bookshop. It's not quite sure if it's an antique bookshop or a second-hand bookshop, and some of the books it has are very mundane. Some of them are actually quite interesting, but it was shut, so there's no danger of me buying books, was there? When it's shut, there's normally a trestle table outside with a box labelled free books. It does invite you to put money through the letterbox for charity. I can't remember which charity it is they support, but it's one that I quite like, so it's no problem to me to put money through the letterbox. Now, I looked and I found a book. This is from the 1950s, and it's a fictional collection of letters from Hadrian. He's the chap that built the wall that stops the English from accidentally straying into Scotland or something like that. Fictional letters that he may or may not have wanted to write to his adopted grandson Marcus Aurelius. Anyway, fictional letters. Why would anybody want to read fictional letters? Well, the thing is, I've been sort of challenged to do some writing, and I actually want to do some writing. It's something I've always wanted to get involved with. And if you want to write well, it probably helps if you start by reading lots. Some of the things you read, you will think, well, that's actually rubbish, I can do better than that. Some of it you'll read and you'll think, that's very good. I like the construction of it. I like the way it's put together. So that's why you buy books like this, and some of you will get the obvious joke, some of you won't, and if you do, don't tell the rest. Okay, now that was one book that I picked up. I'm not going to tell you anything at all about this book except it's green, because I'm going to post this to somebody, and I'm not going to tell you who, but I'm going to put a letter in with it asking that person if they would kindly do a book review on it. Now, straight away, some of you are thinking, well, that's handy because he hasn't got my address. So somebody whose home address I've got is going to receive this book, and I'd like them to review it. It's an old book. It's about events that took place in 1947 and 48. Some very wonderful events, and it's got pictures. Pictures are always good. But I'm not going to tell you about this book, that's for someone else to do. Now, the third book that I picked up, no great surprise that I picked up an Holy Bible. Now, some of you will say, oh, yeah, okay, we all know what a Holy Bible is. This particular one is the New Revised Standard Edition, but it's a Catholic edition, which means it's got books in it that you might not find if you go and grab your King James or your, if you pop down to the local Baptist church and pick a Bible up. I suspect it may not have, for example, the book of Maccabees in it. I suspect it wouldn't do, but this one does. Amongst all of the other books, it's got those ones that some people will call apocryphal books. But I'm going to read you the epilogue to the book of Maccabees. If it is well told and to the point, that is what I myself desired. If it is poorly done and mediocre, that was the best I could do. For just as it is harmful to drink wine alone, or again to drink water alone, while wine mixed with water is sweet and delicious and enhances one's enjoyment, so also the style of the story delights the ears of those who read the work. And here will be the end. There we are. I shall have a little browse through this next week when I have time to, I don't know, what shall we read? The book of Jeremiah? That's, or Micah? Daniel? Ezekiel, shall we read? Or should we stick to Corinthians? St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, that's always good. Corinthians, first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, I'm giving away some of my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends, but as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now, we see in a mirror, dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is love. There we are. A lot of you will recognise that. I make no apology for reading it.